the pop culture field manual.
Do you guys want to talk about anything briefly before we start?
I want
Actually,
to sip my coffee.
yeah,
because
get
I'm
as
not
much
allowed.
coffee inside of you as you can. What do you?
Sorry, I got distracted by the dog outside.
Oh no, man, the coffee really is. He's all over the place.
Spiders are all over me.
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay.
You want me to start this one?
Yeah, I think I started the last one.
There you go. Ready? Welcome back to the Pop Culture Field Manual Podcast. I hate that intro. Welcome back to the Pop Culture Field Manual Podcast. Sitting right at the intersection of weapons, action, the military, and pop culture. I am Israel Wright, one of your illustrious and handsome hosts, former Green Beret, and with me as always,
Cameron Fath, former Army Ranger, and also handsome. At least my mom tells me so. So
Yeah.
I go off that. She's never lied to me.
I'll take her word for it.
Oh, absolutely. And today,
Yes,
we drank a lot of coffee.
we did.
We just drank
now.
so much coffee right now, and I feel the energy just
Yeah, it's
bouncing
gonna
off
be.
the
I'm
walls.
sweating already.
I know, but I don't know what to say. Honestly, I have like caffeine's just driving through my plums. I feel it in my plums.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm a fan of this episode. I'm really excited because we're going to go through some of our favorite bad guys, bad organization, bad groups of people.
Bad boys.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when we come for you? Nobody now give you no break.
Oh, nice. That's
Police
good.
now give you no break. And also Jemima give you no break.
This is going way longer than I thought it was gonna go.
Give you no break. You know,
good.
that's an actual song, man.
I know. It's the intro to Cops.
Intro to Cops, man.
Why are you so sweaty?
How many? Oh, brother, man.
Watching Cops.
Really is. Yeah, watching Cops.
Yeah. Whoa. Bad boys, bad guys, bad fellers. It's gonna be a good
Bad
episode.
people. Look, we're equal opportunity offenders. People can be bad from all walks of life.
Exactly.
We're gonna talk
and
about
as
some of those.
we know, people are bad.
Yeah,
There
people
are a
are
lot
very
of bad
bad.
people out there.
That's
so,
why.
but some of them deserve some recognition.
That's right. Yeah.
So we're gonna go over our favorite, some iconic, just bad dudes, bad ladies, bad people
Yep.
in movies that are hard not to love.
I know. Well, they say like, the good guy can only be as good as he can be if he's got a great bad guy to contrast himself with. Like, the antagonist, the arch rival. He's the one who brings out the best of the hero, or the worst. He's the one that challenges him and stuff like that. So we're gonna try to bring you a few of some of our favorites, and we want you to let us know some of your favorites too at the end of the episode.
Absolutely.
So.
And
Not
before
at the end,
we
you
even
can let us know right now, probably in the
Right.
comments as you're watching this on
As you're
YouTube.
driving.
Yeah, as you're driving.
'Cause you're
Yell it
driving your car.
outside. We're probably gonna hear it.
Yeah. So before we get into individuals, let's talk a little bit just about groups that are always labeled bad.
If they
in
were
movies.
wiped off the face of the universe, it'd probably be okay.
Exactly. If there is a villain, they're probably one of these types of
Yeah,
people.
portrayed in pop culture.
Portrayed
I'm
in
not saying
pop culture.
generally.
Yeah.
Like the first one on our list, Russians. We're not gonna say we love
not
our
saying
Russian
Russia's
friends,
bad guy.
but in movies
In
that we have
movies-
seen, they're usually portrayed as the bad guys.
Yeah, they're
and
always
it's
the
still
best.
relevant today. So
It
it's nothing but consistency from those
Exactly.
Russians.
It's good. I mean, data supports assumptions.
That's right.
Right?
Data supports assumptions.
So we're just gonna go out there. But every time it seems like we have, America versus somebody, it's either, Russia. It is Russia.
Right? Yeah.
They're always in a race, always competing. It's like the two brothers.
They can't just chill.
They can't
It's
just
called
chill,
Two
man.
Brothers.
Two brothers. It's just called Two Brothers.
It's just called Two Brothers.
But yeah, Russia is a big one. I mean, you got movies like Red Dawn, Hunt for Red October,
Yeah.
Rambo, Air Force One, etc., etc., etc.
Wait, real quick caveat. Red Dawn, the original 1980s
OG.
movie. The OG, not the Chris Hemsworth reboot that where North Korea attacks.
And wasn't it? It was Russia and
It was
Cuba.
Russia and Cuba.
And Cuba attack.
Yeah, I think it was Russia and Cuba were the two, they
Yeah,
kind
they were
of
the
banded
two
together.
they were the two commies.
That's right. And they kind of came in, I don't know if, because it takes place in Colorado, the
I
original
thought
Red
it's
Dawn.
oh yeah, and then the reboot they put it in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, because that North Korea comes over and takes over,
Which, I mean, they got soft and they didn't want to.
Well, I thought that was pretty brave because, those North
yeah.
Koreans, they don't like being made fun of.
I know, but I mean, look at the interview, and that didn't start a war.
Right,
And that
yeah.
was hilarious.
It almost did.
The supreme leader does not pee or poop. He works so hard that it burns in the energy.
Absorbs into his body.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That was a good one. I love that movie. But I'm surprised that one didn't start a war.
Right.
But
Anyway.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, there's so many great movies where the Russians are the baddies, you know.
But they're not always bad. Not always.
Not always. Like, give me an example where they're the goodies.
90 Day Fiance.
90 Day Fiance.
That's where everybody finds love in Russia.
That's where they get an opportunity.
All the old middle-aged white men find their wives
in Russia.
in Russia. Mail order brides.
Maybe a little bit of Ukraine, a little bit too.
Yeah, it's a big Ukraine.
All right.
But,
I hear a lot of good things about the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. Is that the next step?
That's where Chernobyl is. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's what you're talking about. Oh, okay.
People keep telling me. I keep getting it wrong. I say, I'm Russian from the Chernobyl. They're like,
Chernobyl's
that's
in
actually
Ukraine?
That's what they tell me. You know.
Well, was it part of the Soviet Union?
Yeah, at the time.
At the time. See? Yeah. So some truth.
Everybody gets to play a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Well, and then also, so we talked about Russians just being portrayed as a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you label someone a Nazi, they are 100% a bad guy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty
That's
bad.
really
and
all
that's
you
not
need
even
to do
being
nowadays.
like, that's not even saying, just because you call someone a Nazi doesn't make them a bad person. No, they are a bad person. If you are a Nazi, you're a bad person.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's so simple, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nazis have been it's like the go-to bad guy. You
Exactly.
know?
I mean, you got Indiana Jones.
Yep, you got
the
Wolfenstein series, the video
Wolfenstein.
games. They got Bionic Commando.
I mean, Inglourious Basterds. Anything with World War II and that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and as we go further and further out, you know, it's just like a good, like, it's just an easy answer.
It's an easy answer. You want to blame someone? Blame the Nazis.
Blame the Nazis, man.
Because
yeah.
I mean,
because with things like Wolfenstein and all these other ones, you know, like or Captain America, the first Avenger, you know, like they're the Hydra's the secret Nazi science organization. You could put they're into the occult. They're into bad science. They, you know, what is they got Iron Sky.
We're
they're
doing
from
bad
space.
shit out here,
Nazis
man.
in space. Yeah.
They're coming back from what is that, Kung Fury?
Kung Fury, yep.
There's Nazis in there.
The Kung Fuhrer.
Yeah, Nazis are the right answer.
Yeah.
For
the wrong
reason, for the wrong people. That came out bad. That can get misconstrued.
Oh yeah, well that would be true. It is the right answer for the wrong people.
For the wrong
because we don't want to associate.
We don't want any of you.
We don't want those people around
like
here.
Your
we don't like you around
here.
these parts.
Exactly.
I don't know why I went southern. I don't know why.
Because you have to.
Yeah.
And then this one, I mean, now that we got those broad brushstrokes out of the way, let's start narrowing down some of our, some of our top dogs
specific
here.
baddies. Yeah.
Some baddies.
Yeah. Yep. What do you got, Cameron? What do you think?
For me, this one actually is a pretty no-brainer. If you know me, you know this. I'll actually have this bad guy tattooed on my body. So the Balrog, from Lord of the Rings, iconic. So actually, this Balrog is not the only one. He's not the only one.
See, okay.
Just wait, sorry.
The most wonderful thing about Tigers is I'm the only one. I'm the only one.
So Cam, just start with
the Balrog.
The Balrog. Durin's Bane.
I didn't know there was
Dug
more
too
than
deep.
Yeah, too deep.
The mines of Lorien.
And they call it a mine. A mine.
The Balrog. Okay, and the thing about it is people think like the Balrog is one of a kind. He's not. The Balrog is actually a name for a specific race. So it's like calling a dwarf or an elf an elf. Right?
Oh, okay.
So actually the specific Balrog that we see in like the Fellowship of the Ring, his name is Durin's Bane. As far as that's the only name that's like given to him.
Okay.
And he's called that because obviously he took out the Mines of Moria, which the Dwarven King Durin was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but the cool thing is Balrogs are actually a race, and they're in the third. Pretty sure it's like the third world, or at least the time period of like where Lord of the Rings.
Age.
The third age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're really big in the first and second age. I'm about to nerd out right now.
Do it.
You had your moment for Star Trek. It's my moment now.
You take it, moment.
It's my moment.
You
baby.
run with it.
Exactly. So they're actually really big in the first and the second. And when you ever heard of Gothmog?
Nope.
Okay, so Gothmog was actually the lord of all the Balrogs. He was the most powerful Balrog, and which is kind of cool because his rank as far as the, how high he ranked in the army of, God, I'm blanking on his fucking name right now.
Admittedly, Lord of the Rings names are pretty hard.
They are hard.
You know what I mean? You got Gothmog, the Lord of the Hoobity-Googs,
the
the tribe of the Midgardians, I'm getting my mythologies mixed up with it. I think that's funny. I love that, like the Silmarillion is basically just like a really dry history of Middle Earth. And I think it's amazing that he deigned to like. That's like backstory for a character when like you're an actor. You know, you write all this stuff up, and you're never gonna say it. It's never gonna be relevant to anybody else but you. But it informs, you know, your knowledge of the characters. I feel like if you read the Silmarillion, then you read Lord of the Rings, you're like, oh, this village of Cathhark has harkened back to the second age of the Gibbety-Bok, you know, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Anyway.
So now we edit this. So actually, Morgoth. You ever heard of Morgoth?
No.
He was worse than... He was Sauron's boss.
He was Sauron's boss? I never knew Sauron had a boss.
Yeah, no, Sauron is like a pawn. So he's actually not the most powerful guy. He's just in that age. So Morgoth is big dog on campus. And actually, Gothmog is Sauron's equivalent as far as rank.
Wow.
So if you think about it, it's like there's some big shit going on.
Wow, yeah. Even more, you know, Sauron gets all the credit and stuff like that.
Yeah, because Sauron's in the movies, but as far as if you want to look into like the Silmarillion and like the ages, and the third age is when, you know, obviously all this stuff has been going down and like Age of Man has been going, but the Balrog is just deep in the earth because that's where they're originally in. But yeah, Gothmog was like the most powerful Balrog to ever walk the earth, and he was responsible for killing 2 of the kings of men.
Wow.
Yeah, by himself, and he just had this giant axe and a whip that he'd carry into battle. It'd be cool. That's cool. So this guy's super badass, man. So I had. Do
you think we'll see any Balrogs in the Lord of the Rings series in Amazon?
I hope so. It all depends on which age they do it in. And
I heard they were going to do the second age.
Then yeah, you'll probably see more. You're probably going to see more Balrogs and more creatures, because Morgoth, he's like Big Daddy on campus as far as just like dudes that are just bad.
That's cool. So, I like that they're jumping back far enough to where like none of the characters that we know of are relevant or have even been heard of. It's just a fresh story, but it's like the same world that we get to enjoy, you know?
Exactly. And just talking about Gothmog again, he's one of an army of Balrogs. So just imagine just one...
An army of Balrogs?
There's an army of them. So, and
awesome.
he was like the warlord. Gothmog was like the warlord of the army of Balrogs, which Morgoth commanded.
Man, why have I not read the Silmarillion yet? Good job, Cameron. Way to nerd out. I'm very proud of you.
All right, let's hear your pick, man, because I need to regain my stature.
Oh man, there's
just
so
real
many.
Quick, that was really nerdy, Cameron.
It was.
That was extremely nerdy.
If you wanna check out Star Trek nerdness, go to Israel.
I like the deflection. He's like,
yeah,
I'm not a nerd, you're a nerd.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
But there's one thing in regiment that, you know, I learned how to do is when someone's making fun of you, immediately start making fun of someone else, deflect. And everybody will just go.
Yeah, we'll just go.
Exactly.
It's just misdirection.
Yeah, just misdirection.
Simple psychology, man.
Exactly.
I like that.
And then everybody starts, and then you make fun of them with you.
That's some psyop stuff.
It
right
is
there.
good. Redirect.
Well, I'm gonna go for, of course, my first instinct is to reach back to the 80s, and I'm gonna bring up just The Predator.
The Predator, baby.
You know, the movie that movie starts off as one movie. It's like this kind of classic action movie, and then it goes like right into like horror, like survival time. You know, and the Predator, they bring him out slowly, like you only see impressions of him. You know, and then he starts taking dudes out. And it's just this really great rollout of this like. I mean, these dudes are like an elite squad. They're like a Delta Force, like a rescue team, you know, and they're all good at what they do. And you know, the movie does a good job of building up the characters, giving them relationships, so you really care about them. So when they start falling, you're like, oh no.
Yeah. Not to mention the Predator is always wearing the mask. You don't know what it looks like.
Always wearing the mask.
You just know it's after. It's a hunter.
Yeah, exactly. You know he's there because in the beginning, the opening shot of the movie is that spaceship flying by and his little escape pod or whatever going down the earth. You know. And I just think he's great. So he takes out the whole team, and it takes Arnold Schwarzenegger covering himself with mud, you know, and being real like real spec ops, like low technology guy, low tech and
just
stuff.
Builds a bow.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's got no metal. He can't see him because he covers his body, his heat signature and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's just really cool. This and then finally, you know, when he finally kind of gets him at the end with the log falling from the trees and stuff and crushes him. He knows he's done for. So what does he do? Just gonna blow everybody up with him, you know.
Yeah. I mean, at least he had a sense of humor, the Predator, because he's just laughing.
Yeah, he laughs like what's the character? It's the Native American character, you know. So he's able to like imitate and mimic a little bit and pick up some of the language. So he's a cultured individual.
Good stuff. What about you? Now, I want to talk about Predator.
Talk about Predator, man.
Yeah, I think he's got cool weapons.
Yep.
He's got cool freaking weapons. He's got the whole Age of Tomorrow what is it? Is that the Tom Cruise movie?
Like
End
the
of
whole
Tomorrow?
looking,
Tomorrow's
yeah.
End? Or
Edge of Tomorrow.
Not End of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's got the whole Edge of Tomorrow like side over the shoulder
Yeah,
cannon.
where
thing.
he looks, that thing kind of targets.
It's like the Apache pilot.
Yeah.
Wherever he looks, the
Yeah,
30
the HUD
millimeter
display
cannon
thing.
goes.
I love it, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got that. Not to mention he's got some gnarly swords coming out of his arms,
Yeah,
and he's got the whole
It's a twin blade,
It's
right?
like a twin blade.
twin
Yeah, I
blade,
mean, you've watched Alien vs Predator, right?
yeah, unfortunately.
I love that.
I'm not a fan of that one.
You're not a fan of that
No,
movie?
no.
I love that
I'm not a fan of the chonky G.I. Joe looking, toy looking predators,
No,
the little
no.
trainee things, and they totally get taken out by the aliens and CGI. I can't be bothered.
Well, I can. I love that movie.
Be bothered. Be bothered.
Be bothered. Be highly bothered. Yeah, I think their weaponry is cool, and just the fact that the net that they'll shoot on somebody, it starts shrinking.
Yeah,
It
the
just cuts
tightening.
into them. Yeah,
that
the
was kind of
tightening.
introduced in Predator. Did you ever see Predator 2?
Yeah.
The one that takes place in the city. I that one's all right.
That's
I found it
in
an
the city,
entertaining.
like Los Angeles.
Yeah. Danny Glover is a cop, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love the opening sequence when it's just the shootout between the cops and the gang.
Yeah.
And they go, and they look up, and he's all skinned and everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, God damn, man.
Yeah, it's a jungle of a different kind. The
Yeah.
concrete jungle.
The concrete jungle. But
Yeah.
yeah. But, dude, Predator's a good pick, man.
Yeah, man.
I have to mention this one because it's awesome. And we're talking about lovable bad guys.
Yeah. Bad guys that we love to hate or love to love.
I know. Patrick Bateman, American Psycho.
Dude. And he's the main character.
He's the main character. I love American Psycho.
It's a classic, man.
It's a classic. I have to return some videotapes. Like, just that whole movie, extremely quotable. Like the business card scene when he's like, it's called Bone. And he's looking at it and he's going crazy because he's like, is it better than mine?
Mm-hmm.
And then I love when he's like sitting there and he's got the girls over and he's just like explaining Mariah Carey's new album.
Yeah. Oh man.
Or
so
the
wild.
Was it Whitney Houston?
Whitney Houston.
Yeah,
there you
or,
go.
yeah, Mariah Carey wasn't even out there. But he's like, and he does something about George Michaels, or is it George Michaels or
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
Hey, Brad.
Hey, Brad. Dude, that movie is awesome. And he's like, at the bar in the beginning when she turns around, he's like, I want to stab you and bathe in your blood.
Yeah.
And then he turns around and he's like,
yeah, he's a psycho, man.
he's a psycho.
Dude.
I think that movie's hilarious. I love Patrick Bateman.
I don't know if hilarious would be
No,
the
it's
word.
not
I would
hilarious.
describe it.
Not because the scene where he like kills the dog.
It's totally insane. Yeah.
Oh, totally insane.
Yeah, it's
But I mean, that character is just.
yeah.
It's.
Christian Bale really he went to
really-
town on that character.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
he
really
did
good.
very well. He
Yeah.
did a very good job on that character. I think
for
it's
the
definitely worth mentioning because American Psycho was a multiple watch, like
Mm-hmm.
multiple timed watch movie on deployment, and everybody would quote his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime anybody would leave the room, they'd be like, "I have to go return some videotapes."
Very good one to have like floating around and quotable in the Ranger Regiment.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because we're all like that inside.
Speaking of psychos, I mean, we got to talk a little bit about Hans Landa,
Hans Landa,
the baddie.
that's a bingo.
Played by Christoph Waltz in *Inglourious Basterds*. He's
Yeah.
that first scene when you see him and he's going to the guy's house and he sits him down and he starts speaking in English and stuff and he just the way that he talks about just he's talking about the Jews and stuff, how they're like rats, and he's so calm and intellectual and you just like it's just so unnerving, that whole scene. And then they just totally just
Aren't you gonna offer me anything to drink?
Yeah.
This is a dairy farm, so I'm assuming you have some milk.
Dude,
That's There's so many monologues in that movie. It's so good.
Yeah, he really. I didn't know. I don't know a lot of international actors and stuff, but he really exploded onto the international scene with that character. So hats off to him and like Quentin Tarantino.
Absolutely.
Because he's
such a
so good.
smooth actor. He's
Yeah.
so good. I mean, even in Django
Unchained. Yep,
he does such a good job.
Yeah,
in
he's
that.
really good.
He's good.
in that one. Yeah, the moment when he's not a bad guy, but
He's
like,
not a bad guy,
He
but-
just can't stand. Speaking of bad guys, he can't stand Leo DiCaprio's character
Oh,
anymore, and they're almost out, and he says one more thing, and he turns around, and he shoots him. He's like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't help it," and he gets blasted.
Yeah.
So wild, dude.
He's the Hans.
And he
Hans
gets
Landa.
yeah, he gets his comeuppance in the
I know,
end.
comeuppance. I like his pipe too. That he pulls out that giant.
Giant
Pipe. He's like, "May I smoke?"
pipe. Yeah. Wait for the cream.
For the cream.
So wild, man.
That's good. What does he say when she's running? Like when she's running away at the.
He aims at her, but he says some like it's like almost like a French thing or something like whatever.
Au revoir, Chachave. Or
Yeah.
what's her name? Chachari or something. It's something like that.
Shoshana.
Yeah.
Shoshana. Au revoir, Shoshana. Yeah, that's what he says. Okay. There
So
we go.
wild. I think it's something about him when a bad guy is like real cool and calm, and they actually like they really enjoy who they are and what they get to do. That is so evil. Yeah.
Oh, they're good at it.
Yeah, they're
And
good
that was
at
his
it. Yeah.
character.
And now, that's what he just but he's so brutal. Like when he finds out the girl is a spy. You know, I forget the actress's name.
He's like,
but,
if the shoe fits.
yeah, and she's like, "What are we
And
gonna
he
do now?"
starts choking
And he
her.
just chokes her. Chokes
Yeah.
her to death. It's just like, oh, it's so brutal.
Man. Well, he gets his in the end, where he's
Yep.
like, "Well, we're gonna give you something you can't take off."
Yeah.
It's like you won't be executed for this.
Yeah.
Like, killed. He's like, killed? Nah. Shoot out? Yeah. I've been shoot out before. That's such a good quote.
Good,
But
man.
okay, I got one.
Do it.
So this is kind of a twofer, just because they both fall under. Actually, a threefer.
Oh.
Because every cinematic representation of these characters, there's worth mentioning. The Batman series. So there's a couple villains of the Batman series.
All right,
that have
all right.
just been, so this one's more silly. I'll get up to my number one pick.
We'll
So
give you- yeah.
As far as number three, Mr. Freeze, Arnie, when he played
so you're
Mr.
talking
Freeze.
specifically Arnold
Specifically-
Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. So that character
Oh man.
he's classic Arnold.
Yep.
I mean that
He's
entire
got the
character.
one-liners.
He's got the one-liners. He's got the crazy henchmen that are all jacked up and hopped on him.
He's got the little
and he's blue.
polar bear slippers.
Yeah, he's blue the entire time. He's got an ice mansion. It's the most crazy interpretation of the Batman. Who directed? Was that Tim
Joel
Burton?
Schumacher.
Joel
Joel
Schumacher?
Schumacher, man. He's the guy responsible for putting nipples on the Batsuit. Joel Schumacher.
Crime.
Schumacher. Yeah.
Crime.
Was that Batman Forever? He directed Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. So he directed the last
and
two.
Batman and Robin was with George Clooney.
George Clooney, and then Batman Forever was Val Kilmer.
Yeah, those were bad.
Oh, bro.
Those were bad, but Arnie was good. He fit. He fit in that like the vibe they were given. I thought it was just
Well,
really
yeah,
fun.
he fit, into Joel Schumacher's vision.
Yeah,
It kind of went from like the dark, real dark, but almost like a gothic kind of playful kind of darkness, but not the gritty real world Christopher Nolan, but like Tim Burton.
Yeah.
And they we're going to go in a completely opposite direction, right up there to Happy Land where all the bright colors are, and the ridiculous
out.
lines. Oh,
Yeah,
chill. All right, everybody, chill. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
perfect. I mean, you got the right.
Freeze
man
you
for it.
later, Batman.
Freeze you later. Oh no. Okay, so that's number 3.
Yes.
Then moving into number 2, we'll go. Now we're back at Nolan.
Okay.
Okay, and I think Bane.
Bane.
Tom Hardy is Bane.
Ah.
Tom Hardy in that movie. Not the reason he's my favorite character is because his traps could catch bears. He is yoked.
He's yoked in that one.
Yoked in that. Tom
Yeah.
Hardy has the biggest traps I've ever seen on a human being.
And he has the vest to show them
Yeah,
off.
and he always is carrying.
wears- yeah, he's always
holding his collar, and
Yeah.
it makes his traps even bigger.
Yep.
And he's like, you nearly adopted the darkness. I was born in it.
Oh, don't do it. Molded by it.
Yeah, and
I will break your body and then I will break your spirit.
Yeah, he's got one-liners in that movie, but it's like so intense, and he's got all the henchmen that are really trained and everything.
And they're all brainwashed,
They're all brainwashed.
Like the guy that fails him that one time, he's like, put him down over there and then I will kill you.
Yeah,
It's like, what?
and he's like looks happy.
Yeah,
he's like,
yes,
yes.
The fire
He's like
right?
so ready for it. But no, Tom Hardy did an excellent job in there, and that's funny because Tom Hardy's on my list again. But we'll get back to it after you do it. But that's number 2 is Bane, and number 1, I've mentioned this before, is obviously Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yep.
Yeah, amazing. I watched that movie's timeless.
Mm-hmm.
I love when he's dressed up as in the nurse costume and he's like walking away from the hospital and he's like trying to detonate it and like a tiny explosion goes and he's like trying to press it again and all of a sudden it goes bigger explosion goes like oh.
I heard that was a bit of improv because the timing of the explosions was not off, so he kind of stayed in character and was just like, and then it went off.
Of course he stayed in character. He stayed in character days after they were done filming.
Are you kidding me? Did he really get into that? It was like method acting kind of thing?
Heath Ledger was a known method actor, I'm pretty sure. That's why I said Shia LaBeouf should do the next Joker.
You just want him to go right more off the rails
Yeah.
and into the fields.
I mean,
with
what do you
Shia
think
LaBeouf.
of the new Joker.
Oh,
With
Jared Leto?
No, it wasn't. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
The
guy.
on the spot.
The guy,
Joker. Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin.
Yeah, I was just about to say it. Joaquin Phoenix. Oh, genius.
That's a depressing movie.
Genius. Yeah, and I loved how they just totally went in a totally different direction, real grounded, real world, almost like in its own kind of universe. You know what I mean? But they'll bring it all together with Flashpoint. But you don't know about Flashpoint? I don't know if they're going to do this with the new Flash movie, but in the DC comic universe, Flash can enter what's called the speed zone? The speed zone? The speed vortex? It's something. It's not a speed zone because that's like on a freeway. But anyway, it's a vortex of time where he can travel back and forth through time into alternate realities. So I think that's how they're going to kind of tie the continuity of all these DC things together because they don't have like an MCU, like a cinematic, like a well thought out cinematic universe. But they kind of want to play in that realm. Anyway, doesn't matter. Tangent.
Okay. Anyways, that's it. Joker.
Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Yeah, but Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger Joker. Yeah.
Yeah, but Joaquin Phoenix Joker, very good too. Different story, but they're both really good. But Heath Ledger, number one as far as the Batman villains.
Nice. I got one. I always got to give a little bit of video game love in these ones. And I know, listen, for all those who are wondering, we can talk about them a little bit, but I don't want to be a poser because I haven't played through the series. But I know General Shepard's on there from Call of Duty. I know that because he betrays, and then he kills, he kills ghosts and everything. But for me, for my money, in terms of games, franchises that I am familiar with, Alma from the video game series F.E.A.R. You ever heard of that?
I've heard of F.E.A.R. I haven't played it.
First Encounter Assault Recon it's an acronym, F.E.A.R. And the first one is there's no the main character is just called Point Man, but it's like you're an elite unit, you're going into this thing, Armacam Technologies. They've basically been doing these experiments on this young girl Alma who has like psychic powers and stuff, and they like tortured her and like brought her up. It was like actually the head scientist was her father, and Alma, I think Wade or yeah. But anyway, and the game itself is like a really great horror survival action movie. It's they get that good balance of like horror and action. You know what I mean? Like whereas like Resident Evil's like more survival horror. Like mood.
Like Dead Space kind of.
Yeah, very much like Dead Space. Yeah, there's jump scares, there's atmospheric stuff that really builds the mood up and makes your heart beat a little bit, and there's head fakes and red herrings and stuff, and then the real scare. They do a good job of building that up, and she's the main baddie throughout. There's 3 F.E.A.R. video games. F.E.A.R. 2 is my favorite. For some reason, I have just a soft spot in my heart for that one. I thought it paced out really well. The levels are really imaginative. Like for example, you go to a school and there's like a hidden thing where you go like down and there's another school, but it's all like propaganda and brainwashing stuff. It's really cool design, and the main character has a name and a story and stuff like that, and he's kind of psychically connected because there was like a secret program where they were experimenting to like find candidates who might be good like psychic soldiers, and he was like high on the list. Anyway, I just like that because in 1 and 3, the main character Point Man, he has no identity, he never speaks, and you don't know anything about him, and to me that's not interesting. So yeah, I'm just a fan of a little bit of the characterization, but ultimately Alma, she has like a tragic story because she was this young girl who was experimented on, and then ultimately like she even has, I think at the end of the second one, like the final level is you are trapped in this like psychic kind of chamber with her, and so it's almost like a psychic battle that you're undergoing. But in the real world, she's actually like raping your body, like Sam Beckett, or Michael Beckett's, body. And at the end of the game, or the second one, she's actually like pregnant, and that's kind of like the conceit for the action in the third game. So because she's like,
I think I know what you're talking. Is this like the young-looking lady in F.E.A.R.?
Oh yeah, she looks like the Grudge. She's got the hair down in front of her face. Yeah. So anyway, just cool. I like the tragic backstory for her, but she's a really evil, like she sucks like people dry and throws their bones away and stuff, and she's just a malevolent force at this point. Yeah, Alma, yeah.
Just kidding.
She's a
woman.
I just got
Just
that.
kidding. Oh man, no offense to my ladies out there, we love you. Next one for me. All right, so I actually have a couple ones I want to still talk about. I know we're running a little low.
Do it. Hey man.
But so I know I mentioned Tom Hardy before, but this one's a little bit of an anti-hero, which I still consider a villain. So Venom, right?
Okay, I got you.
So even though in the Spider-Man universe, you know, I'm not too familiar. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm probably gonna get something wrong. But I mean, we're kind of getting to the Marvel characters now.
Yep.
But I think Venom's super awesome. I like the fact that he's just jacked. He's jacked and he's Tom Hardy. My girlfriend says I look like Tom Hardy. I take it as a compliment. High compliment. Sounds good. But Tom Hardy, cool guy. Anyways, great movie. I like the anti-hero thing. It's like Clockwork Orange, where he's like an anti-hero in there too. But I think he's still a villain if you want to talk about terrible movies like Spider-Man 3.
With good old Topher Grace?
Yeah, something like that, where Spider-Man becomes like emo.
Yeah, emo Spider-Man.
Yeah, and he's like
emo Peter Parker.
He's like pointing at all the girls walking down the street,
doing the jazz dance.
He's got like the Green Day haircut.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's not a good movie. But Venom, Tom Hardy, great villain.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about this one with you.
Do it.
Thanos. So.
Oh man, the ultimate baddie from the first 10 years.
Yeah.
Of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Was he right?
Well, that's the argument, right?
I mean,
right? You know, when he talks about, you know, an infinite or a finite universe with finite resources and being completely fair and completely impartial, that's what made him more of a compelling baddie than someone like, I don't know, Ultron or whatever. It's not just blue light giant bomb in the sky kind of thing crashing to Earth or whatever. You know, he actually has a rationale, and he's not like this megalomaniacal mustache twisting, twirling guy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm hell bent on world domination. I want to rule. He's like, no. This is the way it should be.
Yeah, impartial, half of everything. Yeah. So yeah, man, and they do a good job of building up him as like a malevolent force in the background, and then finally he's like, fine, I'll do it myself, you know. And he's you know, he kills and stuff like that, but he has a reason for everything that he does. He's just, you know, like he says, what is it? The strongest choices, the hardest choices demand the strongest wills, or something like that. He just thinks that he's the one to do it. He's got this destiny, you know, in his mind. So no, absolutely, that's definitely got to be on the list.
That would be an interesting spin-off movie. Could you imagine doing it from like a Thanos perception movie and making Marvel like the Avengers the enemy,
like the bad guys? Ooh, that would be really playing with the morality. What if you could do like you know, you got the What If series coming out, the animated series about like what if in the Marvel universe is like, what if like Agent Carter was Captain America instead? You know, or what if she took the super soldier serum? It's like these little things like alternate reality kind of stuff. Like what if
Ant-Man shrunk down, went up Thanos' butthole, and then expanded to kill him?
Or that.
That is a real fan theory. Apparently that's the only
That's a real fan theory?
That's the only way to kill.
I believe the internet.
They say that Ant-Man is the most powerful superhero
because he could expand.
He has the ability to kill every other superhero, even like Wolverine and Deadpool.
Because he could go quantum and then just expand or whatever.
Inside them and expand, and they can't recover from that.
Oh, that's pretty wild. They kind of do that. They do something. Talking about the butts in the Boys, Boys season 1.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't. His skin is hard for the translucent, so they stick a C4 with a pellet
up his butt,
butt,
and
you know,
blow him up like that. So you can kill superheroes, and Ant-Man knows how.
If you wanted to go that route specifically, literally.
So Ant-Man's the most powerful superhero.
That's
changed my mind.
Tell us in the comments, what do you think?
Exactly. You know? Always walk around with something in Uranus when around that guy.
A little protector thing, maybe a cast iron underwear. I don't know.
Cast iron underwear.
Okay, let me bring it down to earth a little bit. A Few Good Men, Jack Nicholson, Colonel Nathan Jessup, right? He is, you know, the story is there was a soldier on a Marine base, I think in Cuba, actually.
I've seen this movie. I don't remember
anything. It's basically like a courtroom drama. It's Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, even Kevin Bacon's in it, you know. So there's the soldier that has died, and there are two soldiers that were accused of killing him, called like a Code Blue, you know, where they go and it's basically them taking care of this guy on their own, but they end up killing him, you know. So they're on court-martial, and you know, come to find, you know, he thinks that Colonel Jessup is the post commander, and he comes to testify on the stand. And there's this really great scene where Tom Cruise is asking him all these questions and stuff. And there's the famous line where Tom Cruise is like, you know, I want the truth, and Jack Nicholson's like, you can't handle the truth. And he's like, and he gives this great speech, which morally, you kind of agree with. He's like, there are men, there are walls, and there are men on those walls with guns, and they are here to protect you and your, namby-pamby little life, so you can go out and do whatever and live this useless life. He's like, but that's me. I'm the guy on the wall. And he keeps grilling him, and Tom Cruise is like, did you order the code blue? And he's like, that's right, I ordered the code blue. He basically admits to ordering this thing that killed this guy, And so there's this kind of thing where it's like, in principle, he's right about, soldiers defending and, doing the things that other people won't. Mm-hmm. But he's morally wrong because he ended up killing this guy. He ordered this thing that killed this young soldier, And so it's this great thing. And they end up taking him out and arresting him and stuff like that at the end. And it's just, it's really, it's great because kind of like Thanos, he has a rationale for what he believes in. But he executes it, he pushes it too far, and it ends up souring the principle itself, and tainting it, So it's a really great performance. If you haven't seen it, all my young friends, go out and watch it right away. Yes,
that's awesome. That's a good pick, man. I never thought about that. I didn't really see him as a villain. Saw him as a visionary.
You're the Thanos was right camp.
I was like, okay, sucks to suck. We'll move on from it. We'll recover.
Well, what do you think, man?
I have one last one.
Okay.
And I'm super happy that they deserve, or they got recognition. They were huge as far as when, and I say they because it's a pair, but I mean from different times. They're different generations, as you will. Mm-hmm. And they got recognition, and they were only in Star Wars. There's another hand. They were only in Star Wars originally for a short amount of time, but people loved their entire race. And they weren't even that impressive in Star Wars. But
okay. I think I know where you're going with this.
Then they came out with their own series for another one. And, of course, I'm talking about the Mandalorians. So, Boba, Jango, and Mando, they're awesome. So, as far as just, Boba and Jango Fett.
They're the bad guys. Mandalorian, the Mandalorian show, he's not the bad guy per se.
No. But Jango and Boba are technically, villains in the Star Wars series. Antagonists, guys, and as far as the Mandalorian, some people see him, as bounty hunters. Bounty hunters are bad people, whatever. So you can see him as another anti-hero because, technically his job was to find little Baby Yoda, or what's his name, that nobody says his name because it's so bad of a name. Grogu, right? That's so ugly of a name. It's just Baby Yoda.
That's like a boy named Sue, man. That's like, it's the name of your son Porkins or something like that,
Yeah. But no, Jango and Boba were the characters behind them, as far as just the weight that they held, was super cool. I mean, the same, we're going back to the Spartans and the Klingons, like you mentioned before, as far as just entire culture formatted and built around just being a warrior. Yep. And that was the Mandalorian race, and it's all these, brovets now are this is the way, weapons are my religion.
Yep.
I see all those t-shirts and whatnot. But they're super awesome. The thing I didn't understand is even in the older ones, it's you see Boba, right? And Boba is not that impressive in the
the prequels you're talking about? Or
no. Boba's the son, right?
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Yeah, Boba Fett, the son.
Yep.
And then he joins the Mandalorian in the series.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so Boba Fett in Return of the Jedi, he's mainly there, and he shows his face really briefly.
Right, he's got a couple lines and stuff like that.
Got a couple lines, and from there, people took off and were Mandalorians rock! You saw the stickers on everybody's car and everything, which I didn't understand because I was you don't have any backstory on them. This, obviously, if you read the books, and you have to go into the lore of it, and that's probably how. But just general impression of the Fetts and the Mandalorians, you're how do you get a Mandalorian tattoo after seeing this movie?
Maybe I think one of the things about the original Boba Fett and stuff was that might have been part of the mystique, that he's just this cool character, and he's a he's a bounty hunter, and that's there's and he ends up collaborating with the Empire, and he gets Han Solo, and he takes off and stuff like that, and he gets away in the second movie. He kind of has an inglorious, well, I guess not really an end anymore because he came back, but flying, he gets accidentally hit by Han Solo, and the jetpack fires off, and he gets into the Sarlacc pit, and supposedly
everyone thinks he's gone.
Yeah.
Supposedly, until you watch The Mandalorian. Spoiler. Sorry, but he does do a cool comeback. Mandalorian, there was nothing wrong with that show.
Well, you know what I love about what they did is they got the original actor who was Jango.
Exactly.
The clone guy, after which all the clones are modeled. So I think that's super cool,
They
man.
did nothing wrong with that series. I mean, the deep fake of Luke I thought that was hilarious.
That was they did their best. Disney apparently. I don't know if they.
Yeah. Did you see? There was an article that recently came out. It was like the guy that improved the deep fake.
He did the improved deep fake.
So Lucasfilms actually hired that guy.
Good for him, man.
Posting that video.
Good for him.
Improved. Yeah, I know. That's right. If you do something, do it better.
It's like the government hiring hackers. Like, well, come work for us now.
Exactly. Well, it's just recruiting. That is. But yeah, the whole Mandalorians, Boba, Jango, and Mando. Yeah, they're super cool. I think they're awesome. Just villains, it's super cool.
Yeah, super dedicated. A good villain usually has a really strong vision for what they want, and they don't see themselves as the bad guy.
No, they see themselves as doing what they
exactly
what they believe in, and it all depends on morality at the end of the day, and what is wrong and right and perspective.
Yeah, you got to be careful. One more. I got one more.
Do it, man. Send it.
And this just has to be said because obviously none of these things that we talk about are exhaustive by any means. But speaking of Star Wars, one of the most iconic villains of all time.
Sorry, I needed my inhaler.
Yeah, because I was gonna talk about I was gonna talk about Darth Vader. Of course.
Okay. I was gonna sound like an idiot. If you did it. Darth Maul.
That's how well known he is. If I just have to mention that the breathing, the suit, the helmet, and then his tragic backstory. Knowing that he's Anakin Skywalker. Even before then, when the original trilogy was out, I mean, I'm sure he's influenced generations worth of writers and people that have wanted to kind of recreate kind of the mystique and the darkness and the power that is, if you will use the power of the dark side, and then ultimately like kind of a redemption story. So that's one of the things that makes him so. And then James Earl Jones's voice, Dave Prowse, I think that was the actor who actually played him, and and then they did James Earl Jones afterwards with that iconic "This is CNN, Simba, go." Fulfill your destiny. I don't know everything else he's done, but be sure not to choke on your ambition, Commander. From Rogue One, anyway.
Oh.
But I just got to put that in there because we could go all day with all the great bad guys, but he's kind of the father of them all.
He is the father of them all. Darth Vader's definitely a great pick. Surprised he didn't show up sooner, but he's definitely the man to leave it all on.
Yeah.
So that'll be a perfect stopping point for us to transition to our game. What are we playing this week?
I don't know. It's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
I don't know. It's a mystery.
This game, I'm going to call it, Is This Guy For Real?
I love it. I love these titles to the game.
And so I'm going to say the name of a villain, and you tell me if it's a real villain from pop culture or a wackadoodle name I made up.
You're really good at these.
You're good at making up the
really
names, man.
Stuff.
Yeah. Backstories included.
Oh, really? I know. Literally.
Just for clarification, these aren't military movies or games or comic books, so hold on to your butts.
Okay, butts.
It's not limited
hands.
to that genre, okay?
All right.
So we'll do a warm-up.
Okay.
All right? Dr. Stabber.
Dr. Stabber.
Please don't be a real
He's real.
villain.
He's
real. It's like Polka Dot Man.
He's real.
Or Commander Condiments.
Yeah.
The Condiment King.
Cam says real.
I say he's real. That's some loopy shit that would definitely be a real thing.
All right, I'll go with
Feeling
you.
stabby.
I'll jump on the stab train.
It's fake.
Okay.
I should have went with my instincts.
But it sounds like a villain from Grey's Anatomy. This is Dr. Stabber.
Dr. Stabber.
Spelled with two
There's
B's,
only two
right?
things you can do.
He goes-
Two B's.
Two V's or
Two
B's?
B's. B's as in boy. Stabber.
I feel like
I thought
it'd
you
be
said
spelled like
stabber.
No, it's Dr. Stabber.
I'm making shit up to make myself
Stahha.
Hey, whatever band-aids you need to put on the wounds, man.
Exactly.
All right,
I'm bad
so
at these
let's get
games,
into
but
it.
it's Okay.
Immortan Joe.
Immortan Joe? What's his backstory?
I know what his backstory is because this is totally a real character.
Really?
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and say it's a real character, too.
That's a good bet, Cam. He is real. Do you know what he's from?
He's from Mad Max Fury Road.
That is correct.
Yep.
He's the big bad guy with the mask.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
really?
like chasing after the
Give me
Predator
back
movies.
my property.
Yeah.
And interesting trivia, the actor who plays Immortan Joe was one of the original biker gang members in the first ever Mad Max.
Yeah, he was the
Really?
main bad guy in the first Mad Max.
Yeah.
And Road
Pretty cool.
Warrior.
Yep, Road Warrior.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, good on you. You're 1 for 1. All right, next one is the Hurkon.
The
Hurkon.
spelling. Can you use that in a sentence?
Herkon. Use it in a sentence. Oh no, here comes the Hurkon.
The Hurkon.
The Hurkin.
Hurricane. Hurricane.
Yeah. Hurkin's bringing the hurtin'. I can see someone saying that. I'm saying
I feel like
fake.
if they're, I'm gonna say it's fake too because I feel like that's the name of a convention where people go to get hurt, like a BDSM convention. HurtCon. Hurricane.
Welcome to PainCon.
PainCon. Oh, PainCon's better.
It is fake, but it does sound like a Greek god, right?
Yeah,
Or something
Hurkon.
like that.
Hurkin Madurkin.
Herculon. Hurkanon.
All right.
Herconimus.
Two for 2.
All right.
Next one. Screen Slaver.
That screen slaver.
Screen slaver, like a screen saver kind of thing.
That's a real. It's from. That's a real bad guy.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Never heard of it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go with you on this one. It's real. It's real.
It is real, and it is from Incredibles, the newest Incredibles.
You're correct. It's
The
from
Screen
Incredibles 2.
Slaver.
It is very real. It's kind of like the MacGuffin bad
Oh,
guy because
he's-
the real bad guy is the sister.
sister.
Yeah.
Like, this is the one that they're like chasing down. That like
Okay.
hypnotizes people with his
Oh,
screens.
okay, cool. The screen slaver.
All right.
Gosh
next.
darn it, Bobby, you're doing something right.
That's like the Underminer. I should know
Yeah,
that.
the
The Underminer.
Yeah.
3 for 3. Doing
Cool.
well. Next one. The Terror.
The Terror.
Wait a minute. I feel like that's like a 1970s like horror kind of thing.
Well, I'm positive there's probably a movie called The Terror, but I'm referring to a
It's
villain named The Terror.
Oh, a villain named the Terror.
We just have to think simple.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say yes because
Yeah, I'm
I'm thinking Metal Gear Solid 3. There's there's so many wild wackadoo names in Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake Eater. There's like the Fear. There's the Pain. There's the End. They're all
What?
the something.
Okay,
you know?
I'm going with that. Yeah, it's
All right.
real.
It is real. It's a bad guy from The Tick.
The
The
Tick?
Terror. Okay, the Tick.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch the Tick?
Isn't that
Big
a
blue
comedy?
guy
The
in
blue
a-
guy? It's a
Yeah,
comedy,
it was
right?
a
it's a comedy,
cartoon,
yeah.
and then they made one on Amazon that's live action.
They
with,
did have a live action. Did you ever watch the original live action series?
Oh, with
The neighbor from Seinfeld.
the neighbor from Seinfeld, Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I love the cartoon, and I just was never like, this needs to be live action. I was like, it's fine as a cartoon. Next one. World Ender.
That's a real one.
That feels real.
Yeah, that's a real
I'm
one.
gonna go with my instincts on this one.
Yeah, that's a real one. It's from Rick and Morty.
Oh.
Gotta stop World Ender.
From the Vindicators.
The
episode.
Vindicators.
Vindicators!
We're doing Vindicators too.
Vindicators 2! Oh my
Vindicators
god.
2. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm
But,
very
oh,
impressed.
mean
You
this is
guys,
Vindicators-
you're 100% so far.
Well, technically it's Vindicators 3 because they didn't
Oh.
invite him back for the second time.
They missed one.
Because they didn't invite him back.
And they killed 2 superheroes of color.
Yeah.
There goes the diversity. All right. Next one. Soul Ripper.
Oh,
Soul Ripper.
it's like Bonesaw.
So is ready.
Got you for 3 whole minutes.
I'm gonna play the odds actually. The old odds. I'm gonna say no because this doesn't sound familiar to me. It could be a real one, but I'm gonna go with my gut instinct.
I don't have anybody on my mind either, and it seems like we're coming towards. We have to come a no.
Yeah.
Like a no, a big
It's
no.
like
is
it's
coming.
like playing the odds in a multiple
I love
choice
that
quiz.
the game
You know?
is less about do you know it, and it's more about math.
It's about probability. So let's get into statistics of these, right? The coin
All right.
flip, right? Okay.
It's fake.
Yes.
But it's probably the main villain in some bad self-published YA novel.
Young adult. I love it.
All right, and then the final one. So you're 6 for 6. This is for all the marbles. Asajj Ventress.
That's real. That's real. Asajj Ventress. Ventress sounds really.
Ventress sounds very.
Asajj
Ventress.
Ventress.
Ventress. What is
It's
that?
almost
from
like
again?
Star Wars or something like that.
Or it's Rick and Morty again.
Asajj Ventress. I got to go with real because
It
I
is
know
real.
I've heard Ventress before. I just can't remember. I can't place where it's from.
It is real.
It is real, and it is from Star Wars.
Hey,
She's
all right.
she's like a Sith.
Fallen Order.
She might be in that. I don't know because I haven't played the game, but she's in Clone Wars and she's in some other stuff too. She's like bald. She has a double lightsaber.
Oh, she's white, like white skinned.
Yeah.
Okay, she's double red.
She's got the double lightsabers,
Cool.
and she's underneath.
She's from like this planet, the same planet where Darth Maul is from, but there's like these women that are witches, and then there's the men that have the horns.
Okay, cool. Right
so
on.
you guys 7 for 7.
Nice.
And just because you guys always talk about the math of it, I almost made every single one of them real just to mess with you. But then I thought that's not fair because the premise of the game is that some of them are fake.
Oh no!
But
That
if you keep this up, that's gonna happen.
Well, we did a way to do a good comeback.
Yeah.
That was good. We really needed.
We haven't had a good game ending in a while.
We've been sucking since episode 3. But that was awesome.
That was great, man.
Thanks, Chris. That was an awesome game.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, really fun times.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed listening to that in your car because you're always in your car. That's a new thing.
Only listen to this in your car.
Yeah, only listen. You're only allowed to listen to this podcast in your car.
In fact, you know what? Watch the YouTube video in your car. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like me.
Like I do. That's how I don't use Spotify or iTunes. I do all my YouTube listening in my car. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this episode and want to listen to more episodes in the future, we come out with a new podcast every Wednesdays. We also have a awesome YouTube channel, and we release pretty much what you guys hear and more. Plus, you get to see our beautiful faces.
Yeah. Always a little bit extra content in the YouTube video that you can't get in the podcast.
Absolutely, and those are released every Friday, 2 days after the new podcast. Also, we'd love to hear from you guys. We enjoy reading your commentary, any questions you have. We actually do episodes where we answer those questions, and yes, we do read every single email. Go ahead and shoot us a question or anything you pretty much want to tell us at pcfmpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's pcfmpodcast@gmail.com, or find us on Instagram at pcfmpodcast.
If you want to hang out with me a little bit more, you can go to twitch.tv/myhappyself. It's my streaming service, my streaming channel. I stream every Monday, Wednesday from 3 to 8 p.m. currently, and then every Friday morning from 7 a.m. until noon. It's a good time, just playing video games and hanging out.
And I like to hop on sometimes, so
yeah, you might see Cameron on a Friday morning sometime.
Yep, sometimes. And also, if you guys like nice I can't talk right now, dude.
Nice reek gear.
Nice reek. Okay.
Here, just take a break.
And also, if you guys like awesome streetwear, go ahead and check out my streetwear brand, KitGod. You can find us on Instagram at KitGod Apparel or on our website, www.kitgodapparel.com. Thank you for listening, and cue music!